have anything new, but it looks like they will continue the tornado warning here for portions of McCurtain County that goes again until 1:30 a.m. this morning. And if you're watching in other parts, you can see there has been some lightning up towards Batiste and Smithville, but again, that portion of the storm, not what we're watching just as far as the tornado warning. Again, our possible tornado would be located now to the east of Hochatown. So if you've been in Broken Bow, Hochatown, when that warning was issued, it looks like the danger, at least from that storm, has passed here, and we'll continue to just kind of keep an eye on things as that makes its way off to the northeast here. Again, that warning in effect for McCurtain County until about 1:30 a.m. this morning. Let's check out some of the other storms while we're here. We'll see maybe some half-inch hail, so maybe some small hail with those storms that are about to make their way into the south end of McCurtain County there. Tom, Oklahoma, and Hayworth, Oklahoma could definitely see some hail, and looks like the winds have been about 30 to 40 miles per hour, and for these storms to be severe, you typically need to see those winds above 50 miles per hour. So wind gusts in excess of 58 miles per hour, usually what triggers those severe thunderstorm warnings for winds. And so far, we've seen the winds below that. And again, this line of storms over the last few hours has been weakening. It's moving in, but we're just seeing just enough rotation with the storms there that we did see that tornado warning issued here for McCurtain County. We'll check out that storm over here towards Batiste as well. BTI number, that's the Barron Tornado Index. That's our weather vendor here. We've noticed anytime that number gets up to about a 4 or a 5, it can be indicative of maybe a tornado developing there, and that number with the storm in Batiste. Notice we don't get one of these arrows or storm skits with our storm here, so it looks like that rotation has weakened out somewhat, but again, just calling to attention here that we may have some hail north end of the county where we're seeing those thunderstorms. And just north of you in McCurtain County, you can see a few more tornado warnings going up towards the Tulsa viewing area and the Fort Smith viewing area, but nothing that will affect us here. I think once we get this storm out of McCurtain County, we'll just have to keep an eye on some of the storms down here by the Red River, but it looks like the danger with this storm in McCurtain County should probably be dissipating within the next little bit. So we'll take a closer look at radar. You'll notice here we're not seeing that same kind of rotation. I'll go ahead and put this into motion over the last hour or so. And you can see that that little couplet where you see the red and green coming together, kind of indicating the wind speeds and the wind direction in the upper levels of the atmosphere here. You can see that velocity couplet, or that radar signature that triggered the tornado warning, that has been dissipating somewhat. But again, it is moving away from the radar site. But this is a pretty good indication that maybe this storm has been collapsing somewhat, and we're not seeing anything as far as rotation with that particular part of the storm. We also have that storm that's moving up towards the Smithville area. Looks like maybe a little something trying to develop, so we'll keep an eye on that. But again, that tornado warning that was issued for south end of Broken Bow Lake there, it looks like the rotation with that has gone down over the last few radar scans, and not seeing too much with these other storms that would indicate that we have much of a tornado potential with those at the moment here. But of course, that could change as we go through the rest of the overnight hours here. So let me give you a look one more time here as we continue to watch that storm, which should be making its way probably in the next 10 minutes here, and we'll see if they cancel this warning early. Of course, current time right now, we're just getting close to about 1 a.m. here, so that warning will go for about 30 more minutes, but I do think the storm likely out in McCurtain County by then. So we'll go ahead, stop the radar here and look at some of those storms. Could be some wind for folks in Sevier County that may have had that warning trigger on their phones, maybe up watching us here. Again, the danger, the area of rotation that we're watching with this particular tornado warning is likely going to stay to the north of you here in Gillum. And then further to the south, you can see those storms popping up about to cross into other portions of Sevier County. Storms there, not severe, but you'll likely see some gusty winds and potentially some of that small hail over towards DeQueen and Horatio. And just a quick shot of rain as well. And there will be some more storms that try to develop a little later today. So we'll go ahead give you a look at basically what's happening. Let me check some of the wind gusts that we've had over the last little bit. Looks like those storms, as they've been moving across McCurtain County there, have maybe triggered some 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts, which again is not severe, but still some gusty winds within those storms that have been located there across the northern edge of the Arklatex. And we'll go ahead and give you another look here just as far as what we're seeing as far as the potential there to see again just the tornado here. And we'll check the Fort Smith radar one more time and see if we're not seeing anything just as far as what we can see here. So let's give a Give me just a second. We're going to go ahead and go back to the radar site here in Shreveport. There we go. There's some of the current temperatures. You can see with that front moving through, we have dropped into the 60s at the moment here, just as far as McCurtain County. And let me go ahead. Let me step over to the radar here. Hang tight. We'll get it back moving just as far as the storm mode here. But as far as what we're expecting for the rest of the night, these storms will continue to weaken over the next hour or so. But there's again, a closer look at our storms moving into McCurtain County that triggered that tornado warning. Area of danger, again, probably moving out now within the next 5 minutes or so. And I'll come back over to the touch screen and get you through the next few minutes here in McCurtain County. But those of you that do live close to the lake here, again, I do believe that danger for you has dissipated somewhat over the last little bit. So we'll go back, check out the Fort Smith radar and see if we can't pick up any kind of areas of rotation, which I'm honestly not seeing with that. So I do believe the danger with that storm in McCurtain County has come down somewhat, and really not seeing much in the way of any kind of wind shear. And that's a look at the hail detector as well. The hail has definitely come down with that particular storm, so we're not seeing quite as much with that, but you can see there may be some gusty winds located with that. Basically, what will be some heavy rain. We can kind of take a look at that, and it's showing maybe just under an inch of rainfall per hour. So get a quick shot of rain here across the region, but again, nothing that would trigger any flooding. But again, more storms coming behind this. Either later this morning we'll see some redevelopment, or maybe through the afternoon and evening today. So just as far as what we're seeing at the moment here, we'll check out the radar and go ahead and clear some of that out of there for you. This is the storm that had triggered the tornado warning in McCurtain counties. We put this into motion, racing pretty quickly. That's going at about 45 miles per hour. So storm had triggered that tornado warning as it was moving just to the north of Broken Bow, between Broken Bow and Hochatown, and really appears at this point that the rotation with that has weakened out somewhat, but that tornado warning still in effect for about 30 minutes here. So we'll at least stay with you until the danger is moved out of McCurtain County here. And of course, some gusty winds for folks there that may have been watching in Sevier County. Otherwise, we'll take a look at some of these storms, and we'll see if anything's rotating here. You can see kind of a weakening trend with the storms here across or areas of Texas as well. So there's a look at Hayworth down towards Pleasant Hill and Tom. I'm not seeing anything rotating. Again, we're looking for the greens and the reds coming together, getting that velocity couplet that would indicate that we're seeing anything spinning there. And I'm honestly just not seeing that. Storms moving into DeKalb as well, probably bringing some 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts there, and further south down towards Dalby Springs, Texas. But as far as the storms here in McCurtain County, again, the danger is now passed through Broken Bow as well as Hochatown. You'll notice the Weather Service has trimmed back that warning somewhat as well. So that's, again, the reason that the danger has passed there. So this storm, likely that area of rotation is going to be located very close to the border here between Sevier and McCurtain counties, probably up to the north. But again, nothing else indicating that we're seeing any kind of tornado activity within that line. Keeping an eye on the storm here south of Smithville as well. We'll flip you back to the traditional radar mode and see if we can't see anything there just as far as any kind of rotation. I'm honestly not seeing that with the storm that's over towards Smithville, which should be moving to the north here pretty quickly and making its way out of the region as well. And one more check of the Fort Smith radar to see if we can get anything to pop up. You can see a little bit of maybe some weak rotation with that storm south of Smithville. That's looking from the Fort Smith radar site, which is just off to the north there. So we'll keep an eye on that as long as we're with you here. But again, the danger that triggered the tornado warning there looks like it is somewhat dissipated. So looks like that tornado warning at the moment has been canceled in northeastern Sevier as well as McCurtain County. So at the moment here, we do not have any current tornado warnings in effect. So those of you that were jolted awake by that tornado warning in McCurtain County, for now, at least the danger has subsided, but we are watching maybe some additional storms that will pop up later today. I'll be here in the forecast center, just kind of keeping an eye on those other storms that are moving through McCurtain County as well as northeast Texas. But again, the trend has been to weaken these over the last hour or two. So do be mindful. There will be some small hail, maybe some gusty winds as these storms continue to make their way off to the northeast through the morning, and expect some redevelopment later today. We'll have all the details on the newscast here on NBC 6. That will be starting at 5 o'clock here this morning, so be sure to join us for that. We'll keep an eye on these storms, and for now, we'll send you back to programming, but if there's anything else that pops up through the night, we'll be here to keep you safe.